We trained for this moment. We prepared for this moment. We was warmed up good for this moment. Yeah, we was sparring in the back before this moment just to get ready for this moment.
I'm built for these moments, man. These moments add up, the moments before the moments, the days before the moments.
3, 2, 1, go.
Episode 221, boys. Let's go UFC Nashville. And we're just discussing, Meat Boy. It's going to be difficult to sort of come back from our magnum opus episode 2 weeks ago. I mean, everything was pretty much flawless. The MEATLOCK dog cast with absolute easy light work ease. We kind of called that Peyton Talbology would get that one done over Felipe Lima. So it was 2 weeks ago, Meat Boy. There's a lot to recap, but UFC 317, what'd you make specifically of just the MEATLOCK, and how good is Talbology?
Yeah, Tabology is, he's the real deal. He looked great out there, looking better than ever, and he just got out sizzled by a sizzling veteran, and he'll be back. He'll be strong, and he clearly was, last fight card. So I think I don't see how he's not going to fight for the title within the next 2 years if he keeps his path going. I think he would win that fight in a rematch. I think he's leveled up. It's like one of those, boogeyman, like, oh, this is a veteran, this guy knows, and it probably was in his head. I bet you he probably beats Barcelos on a normal day, but he probably just, crapped the bed, just like a lot of these guys that they fight versus a veteran and they kind of like get starstruck, like, oh, this guy's like a legend, kind of, or this guy's very high level, and they just start doubting themselves. But Tabology's really proved himself. He looked great and dominant fashion.
Yeah, he looked great start to finish. He did exactly what we said he was going to do as a plus 150 dog. So it was great to keep the MEATLOCK streak alive. 2 in a row, easy light work. Oral Goat did it a few weeks ago. Talbology keeps it going. And I was particularly impressed with just how much better Peyton Talbot got in the grappling and in the offensive wrestling, right? Like, Barcelos was really able to just kind of ragdoll him, and that was like 6 months ago. And then suddenly he's ragdolling Ligma. So it was good to see how quickly he improved. And it's cool to see Peyton Talbot make those adjustments and get it done, because similar to how we said, I mean, he really got knocked down a peg, and for him to respond the way he did was very cool. So good stuff from Talbology, good stuff from us, obviously keeping the MEATLOCK streak alive. And the other fights, there were a lot of bangers. I went 3-3, so it wasn't my best prediction weekend. You went 5-1, however, and the only one you missed was Royval, who lost a very close decision, but the right decision, I thought, to Joshua Van, who we asked the question. We said, yo, any chance this Royval Van fight becomes next title challenger, even if it is Joshua Van? And by the end of the night, we got Pantoja and Van facing off in the octagon. So what are your thoughts on Joshua Van? And he's going to be fighting Pantoja next, seemingly. Are you going to pick him?
It's so hard to go against Pantoja right now. Just look what he's been doing. I mean, he is decimating every opponent, like just bully beatdown style. And it's like, dang, this guy too? Wait, another one? Wait, him also? It's like, where does it end? And Pantoja might be the most sleeper of goats in UFC history. Like, no one really considers him too much. I mean, it is 125. It kind of gets disrespected a little, but like what Pantoja is doing right now, if he keeps it up, I think. I mean, I have to look at the record, but like, I mean, a couple more wins, and he's getting close to being, top two. I mean, definitely top three GOAT of all time, but he might even catch up to DJ if he keeps this up for a couple years, and he just starts tearing through everybody.
Yeah, for sure. I think he's perpetually disrespected and should be higher in the GOAT conversation than perhaps he is. I mean, if we're talking disrespect, I picked Kai Kara-France. I thought that the Haka energy was going to give him what he needed to get that done over the Cannibal, but obviously the Cannibal devoured him, easy light work. But to your point, I mean, DJ is the gold standard, right? DJ, 10, 11 title defenses. When you're chasing the ghost of someone with double-digit title defenses, obviously it's going to be difficult to really become the GOAT at flyweight for sure. But he's up there, and I'm excited for Pantoja versus Pantoja Vantoja, because I think that one is fascinating. And I mean, we both picked Royval. We thought it was going to be too much too soon, and Joshua Van did what he's been doing again, even against Royval. So don't be surprised if somehow, despite all this GOAT conversation in Pantoja, Joshua Van is really damn good. So I'm excited for that fight. another couple interesting fights on the card. Moicano lost to Dariush. You were all over that. You basically said he would come back, cut an epic promo. The last part of the prediction perhaps didn't come true, but you were all over that one. And then obviously the meat event, Topuria finishes Oliveira in the first round exactly like he said he would, exactly like we said he would. And Charles Oliveira, I guess, you see the edits in days after the event where Topuria is talking with Helwani, says, "Oh, it's going to be easy. I'm going to get done the first round." Reason why is Charles Oliveira is not afraid to engage in close proximity. He's going to be walking forward, and in so doing, is going to get absolutely slept. 3 minutes into the fight, that's exactly what happened. So, what did you make of Topuria Oliveira? Who are you picking to ever beat Topuria? I mean, he keeps going up and up. He keeps sleeping everyone. At some point, that recipe has to fail, right? Who do you think can beat this guy?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if John Jones could take him out at this point.
Okay.
He just seems unbeatable. You never bet against Georgia dog, and guess what? Now you can never bet against a Georgian favorite because since he was a dog his first few bouts, he's been undefeated, and now he's a favorite. He's still undefeated. So the kid is impressive. The kid is insane. Seems that somehow he has infinite money glitch. His facility is top of the line, so I don't know if he's got some GSP, high level technology, tactician, big brain stuff. Like GSP was so smart doing, analytics and mind stuff for making people flinch, where he's got all these crazy systems in his house. Who knows what this guy's doing? I think he could take out Derek Lewis, like he just seems untouchable, unbeatable. But I was very surprised that Charles Oliveira was that low of IQ and was like, you know what? Let me get out of my strike range because my arms are 10 feet longer, and let me go to 1 foot long arm, T-Rex nuclear bomb arms, Ilia Topuria. Like like you just said, he's not afraid to go forward. He walked forward into his strike zone. If he fought a little bit more like Sugar Sean and stayed out and used his length and reach and speed, I mean, I think he could have pointed him out or even got a KO or TKO and caught him off guard because it would frustrate Topuria. Topuria would have to rush in, and he could just keep jabbing him on the outside. His arms were literally 2 arm lengths longer than Topuria. All he had to do was keep his distance, and he probably would have won. But no, he just ran straight into that, thought he could hit harder than T-Rex in T-Rex range when he has gumbo arms, and I mean he just missed his punches because his arms were too long. His head's in like at his bicep, so it's just like, how, what are you gonna knock him out with your bicep? It was just very bizarre, low IQ move by Oliveira, but maybe that's what he does. Like he doesn't really think, he just attacks, and it's worked out until this.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna piggyback on. Like for better for worse, like that's just how Oliveira fights, right? He's down to make it a brawl. He's down to take chances. He's never really been the sort of keep distance and karate point style his way to a victory. It's usually a brutal finish that he's getting. To Charles's credit, I mean, he did try to get some early takedowns, right? I think within the first minute he had him in the clinch, and it looked like he was trying to, get some offensive game going via the grappling, but Topuria shut it down, and then I guess it just took, one failed grappling exchange for Oliveira to become angry, and in so doing decided to just get slept as a result. So sucks it went down that way, but Topuria said that's exactly how it was going to play out, and we over here at Meat Boy MMA said the exact same thing. So we called that one. UFC 317, I thought delivered in some areas, Meat Boy, but fell flat in some others. It's Nashville Hot Chicken this weekend with some bum heavyweights at the top of the bill. You down to swap us through and jump right in?
Yeah, let's get to the lock.
Swap us through to the meatlock then, because we're trying to get the third in a row, keep the streak well alive. You see us obviously chilling straight in the green, but it's a fun one here. Steve Garcia, a guy who's 6-2 in the UFC on a nice 5-fight win streak, taking on the aging veteran Calvin Kattar, who is 23-9. At one point was a top 5 guy in the division, but He's lost 4 straight. He's only won 1 of his last 6 fights, and it was a fight where he looked great against Giga Chikadze, right? It was fight of the night. He was a sizable underdog, and he really looked amazing in that fight. And we were talking earlier, as you know, we are scheming the meatlock and talking about the fights, and you had referenced, oh, you know, Calvin Kattar, how great he looked against Giga, and then boom, suddenly we look at the recent L's, and that was the guy's recent loss. It's the last time he's looked good. He not only has not won a fight since then, he hasn't even won a single round. So how quickly this game changes and how quickly the years start to bend together when it comes to UFC fighter evaluation. But in this one, it's pretty simple, right? We see one guy trending up, we see one guy trending down, one dude hungry, the other just clinging to the last fight on his deal, and essentially dead to rights, ready to challenge Mike Perry and BKFC. So what are your thoughts on this meatlock? What do we like? Obviously, we're picking Steve Garcia. How do you think he gets this one done over Calvin Kattar? And is Garcia going to finish Calvin Kattar? Because Kattar is obviously historically tough, loses a lot of fights, but usually goes the distance. Steve Garcia is out there, though, finishing everyone and has finished 5 straight. So does Steve Garcia put a finishing end to Calvin Kattar?
Honestly, I think Steve absolutely just sends Calvin Kattar's bum to Bum Dogville, aka BKFC, which apparently they pay a lot of money now, so probably be an upgrade for Calvin Kattar. But yeah, he is built for BKFC, so Garcia is going to snuff him, destroy him, maybe even submit him, but I think a knockout most likely.
Yeah, and I was kind of surprised with 78%, first of all, going with Steve Garcia over Kattar. And I was a little bit surprised by Oliver Brown. I mean, about 68.2% of the Garcia backers think that he's going to go out there and sleep Calvin Kattar. So, majority Brown, are you officially going to go Garcia by KO, or would you maybe inspect that YOLO submission? I mean, Tapology, there isn't even a slight sliver, meaning no one is going submission on Tapology. Garcia is kind of sneaky, though, with those subs, right? I mean, he doesn't have any recent submissions, so not really. He's more so a TKO guy. But do you like the sneaky sub for Steve?
I kind of do like the sneaky sub, but honestly, I do like the sneaky stuff. That's something to look at for sure. Maybe a few chicken fingers on that, but I don't know. I kind of like the late round finish. That's going to be surprising to everyone. But Steve is there to put a statement and really send Mr. Kattar to BKFC.
Yeah, good stuff. And Steve Garcia has 17 wins, right? 14 of them by knockout, 3 by decision. He not only has not picked up a sub in his last 5, he's never gotten a submission. So you heard it here first. It's the meatlock for a reason, and perhaps it's a sneaky sub Steve lock for Steve Garcia, the mean machine. But nonetheless, we'll be keeping it simple, throwing down an easy 135 to net 100. Get us our 3rd meatlock in a row, the 122nd overall. And if this is your first Meat Boy MMA experience, the meatlock is just the fight on the card that we think has the best lock potential. And Mean Machine over the aging hype beast Kattar is this week's meatlock. So I'm going to go Steve Garcia officially. I'll go by decision. I can see a world where Kattar just has iron chin and is able to survive despite getting beaten for 15 minutes. So I'll go Garcia by decision, but let's hope for the sneaky sub lock. Any last thoughts on the Garcia meatlock?
No. I think this is a great one. Definitely sneaky subs, a few chicken fingers, but this is a great, uh, you know, meat lock. I would say this is an absolute lock. I really hate to see, Mighty has fallen where, he has a great win on Giga, and then now Kattar's got to be sent to BKFC. But it is what it is. The meat lock is here, and yeah.
The game continues, and it's essential for us to separate ourselves from any fandoms and just identify the locks that are there. But nonetheless, me boys, swap us through. It's the prelim headliner, Max Payne Griffin, taking on the milkman, Chris Curtis. And this is one that I find interesting because the odds are loving Chris Curtis. Talbology is all over Chris Curtis, 95%. I've seen a lot of people online saying this is the lock of the week. Chris Curtis, easy light work, gets this one done over Max Payne. But Max Payne is a guy who alternate wins and losses, and he just lost his recent contest to Michael Chiesa, and he hasn't lost 2 straight fights in a long time. And taking on a guy in Chris Curtis who has only won one of his last 5 fights, and it was a controversial split decision over the power bar. So are you at all surprised that these odds aren't a little closer? Or do you think that at this point of their career, even despite the fact that the Milkman doesn't win fights anymore, he's still going to be better than Max Payne Griffin, who is basically 40?
You know, I gotta imagine that Milkman has got to get this done. This is gonna be a stand-up fight, that's for sure. And I don't. Mac's been looking pretty good. Milkman's, he's Milkman, but I'm gonna take Milkman in this. I never pick him. I'm not a fan, but I just the age difference and Milkman's gonna be the bigger guy. He should have the sharper boxing, but I don't know. Maybe Max tries for a takedown and can get it. It'll be interesting, but I think Milkman has a better stand-up.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. I think Chris Curtis is definitely a slicker boxer. I mean, obviously Max Payne has some skills there as well, but Chris Curtis definitely more refined, will probably be faster. The size will be pretty comparable, right? They're obviously both fighting at 170. 5'11 is Max Payne, 5'10 is the Milkman. Both have a 76-inch reach. So I agree. I think that if Max Payne is going to get this one done, he's got to find ways to mix it up, try to get some takedowns, utilize a lot of clinch, but that's not really Max Payne's game, right? He's going out there and would prefer to stand and bang as opposed to try and rely on some differentiated arsenal. But it's an interesting contest for sure. You don't love to see that Max Payne just got finished by Chiesa, right? Like, you can live with a loss to Chiesa at this point in the career, but if you just got finished by him in the most recent calendar year, it's not ideal for sure. So if you're taking the Milkman in this one, how do you think he gets this one done? And I guess my only question might be, Max Griffin has somewhat recent wins over both Tim Means and Jeremiah Wells. Do you think that the Milkman would beat Jeremiah Wells?
I think he definitely would. He would have to be Jeremiah Wells. Jeremiah Wells, I see even in the UFC, like at this point, he might as well get cut. Dude's a bum dog.
It's an interesting question, right? Like, how bad is Jeremiah Wells? And oftentimes, whenever we're doing MMA breakdowns, that truly is at the crux of most conversations. But nonetheless, people, if you're taking Chris Curtis, does he pick up an elusive finish in this one over Max Payne, or is it a snoozer but a dominant unanimous decision?
I think it's snoozer dominant, unanimous.
Snoozer dominant unanimous for Chris Curtis is your pick. I would love to pick Max Payne, but he's probably not going to get this one done. I'll go Chris Curtis as well. Let's go Chris Curtis YOLO TKO third round, though, because Chris Curtis has to do something. He hasn't been able to finish a sandwich in years, and when he did, it was a beautiful performance of the night finish over Joaquin Buckley. So, like, we've seen this dude get finishes before. He finished Brendan Allen a few years before that as well. So if there's ever a time, if there's ever a sandwich to be finished, it's got to be of the Max Payne variety. So I'll go Chris Curtis, third round finish. You're going decision?
Yes.
Swap us through then. Another interesting one here. It's our boy Nate the Train Landwehr taking on Lil Uzi Vert, aka the Last Pirate, who is a pretty decent favorite in this one, despite our boy Nate Landwehr loving to cash as a dog. And I can understand why the odds makers perhaps are hopping off of the Landwehr train. Perhaps it ran its course and simply has run out of steam because he's lost 2 of 3 and most recently got concerningly finished by the Superboy Doo-Ho Choi. Third round beautiful elbows for Doo-Ho Choi, and maybe the Landwehr story is over, or is this typical Nate Landwehr as a plus 200 dog able to capitalize again over this hype beast who Morgan Charrier, we keep being sold this story of, this guy is the next dude. He's going to contend in this division, but so far in the UFC, it hasn't gone his way. Chepe Mariscal smoked him easy light work. Nathaniel Wood most recently did the same thing. So is Morgan Charrier deserving of the hype, or is Nate Landwehr going to cash as a dog again like he usually does?
Yeah, I think Nate Landwehr is cashing as a dog. He always does. He is Nate the Train. Choo choo.
If you're taking him as a dog in this one, first of all, 77% of Tapology is rolling with Charrier, 23% going with the train, and basically everyone who's picking Nate Landwehr says by decision. So is that how you see this one going down? And do you see any pathway for Landwehr to get a finish, or Do you agree that decision will be his best way to pull off the upset against the Pirate?
I think he'll have to get a finish on this one. I don't know if he'll get a decision. He's got to make this greasy, bloody, and chaotic to get this done, I think.
And thusly has to go the distance, or he could get a finish, you think?
No, he has to get it a finish. This will not go the distance. Either he's getting knocked out or he's knocking out or submitting.
Yeah, I guess that's how I'm seeing it too. It's like I was surprised that all the people picking Nate are saying he gets it done by decision. Because in my book, it's like he's got to find a way to pick up a finish in this one. It's gonna be tough to win a decision, but nonetheless, we've seen the Pirate be on the wrong end of decision. So maybe he can just dominate one round, keep a second one just close enough, and perhaps he emerges with a split decision of his own. But I'm going back and forth in this one. There's no way I'm picking against Nate Landwehr. I mean, part of me thinks that this is where the rubber meets the road, and the Pirates, the UFC maybe just wants to build something out of this Pirate kid, and Landwehr, they probably got even more tread out of than they anticipated. But I don't know. I can see this being the end of the story, but officially, I'll go Nate Landwehr. Let's keep the hype alive. Way more interested in seeing Nate Landwehr cut a funny promo in Nashville than I am the last Pirate. So let's go Nate the Train. Let's go Nate the Train by finish. First, second, or third round, me boy.
I'm thinking second round.
Second round finish for Nate the Train. Let us know in the comments if you are taking the Pirate or if you are all aboard. But swap us through, me boy. It's the co-meet. It's, as far as I know, one of your favorite fighters, perhaps your all-time favorite fighter, if I'm not mistaken, next to the great Lyoto Machida the Dragon. But we got Gabriel Bonfim taking on your boy, Wonderboy Thompson, who 17-8-1, has lost 4 of 5. His only recent win was a nice fight of the night victory over Kevin Holland, but it was a fight where Kevin Holland probably could have won, but decided to be a great showman, a great fighter, and keep things standing on the feet where obviously he was at a disadvantage, but was trying to put on a better show. Either way, though, it's the only recent win for Wonderboy. Hasn't done anything else since 2020. He's taken on a young hype beast in Bonfim who got finished, got sent down a peg by Nicholas Dalby, but has since responded beautifully with wins over Ange Lusa, who is terrible, and Chaos Williams most recently. So in this one, I know you love Wonderboy. At one point, however, you were pretty bullish on both Bonfims as well. So are you still bullish on Gabriel Bonfim? And if so, are you picking him over Wonderboy, or are you going with Wonderboy, who at 45 is still your boy?
Yeah, Wonder Boy, that is my boy. And 45 though, oh, might have to fade. I don't know. That's a rough one to be honest. I think Bonfim, you know, he's a bum. He'll probably lose, but that being said, he probably gets a submission in like the first or second round. Wonder Boy's knees, his grappling's never been too strong. He's pretty easy to get taken down, but I guess this is a levels test. How bad is Bonfim? If Bonfim loses, pretty bad. If he gets an easy light work, it's like, well, that was just expected. He might be just kind of bad. So we'll see. But yeah, I think I'm gonna pick Bonfim just because he's probably gonna win by via submission. If he tries to strike, he will lose to 70-year-old Wonderboy Thompson. You cannot go toe to toe, strike for strike with Wonderboy. He's just that good. Nobody does, and anyone that has, they've lost. So Bonfim, I doubt, will not look at the history and not learn. So I think he's going to go in, take him down, get a submission first round.
Yeah, it's a great point. Like you have to possess a very silly perspective to try to stand and bang with Stephen Thompson. So much so to where Kevin Holland is the only dude in the last 10 fights of Wonderboy to try it, and obviously it didn't work out. So Bonfim would have to be a similar silly if he's going to go in there and try to stand and bang with Stephen Thompson. In so doing, he probably just gets a takedown, like you said, probably gets a submission, like you said. And Tapology is seeing it the same way. 75% is rolling with Bonfim, only 25% going with Wonderboy. Those backing Wonderboy think decision is most likely. And I mean, if there's any way that Wonderboy can keep this thing on the feet, perhaps he can eke out some rounds. But if Bonfim decides to go there, you got to imagine he will probably have some success while doing so. And as a result, the pick has got to be Bonfim. But I'm not sold on either Bonfim. I don't think that either of these dudes are future champ yet. And to your point, I think we will find out truly how bad he is or how good he is in this fight for sure. And I misspoke. Wonderboy's 42, not 45, but at this point, who's counting? So I'm gonna go Gabriel Bonfim. I'm gonna go by. Let's go second round finish. I'm gonna say TKO though. Maybe he decides to. He refuses perhaps to get a submission and wants something a little bit more brutal on the ground. Where we've seen Stephen Thompson get finished there as well. So I'll go Bonfim TKO. You're going Bonfim sub.
Yeah. Bomb sub first round.
Let us know if any of you guys are picking Wonder Boy. Obviously, rooting for Wonder Boy. I hope he gets this one done, and would love to see him go out on top. I mean, I don't think it's that crazy to infer this might be Wonder Boy's last fight, right? I mean, how much longer is he going to do this? If you lose in a co-meet to Gabriel Bonfim, there isn't really much you can do unless you plan on being Arlovsky and hanging around and just like fighting, to fight. But Wonder Boy seemed to have different sort of more championship-minded ambitions, I thought. So. I think it's Wonder Boy's last fight this weekend. Hope he gets this one done. Swap us through though, Meat Boy. It's the meat event. It's two heavyweight slobber knockers going at it. It's Black Beast at another 40-year-old fighter. This is the fight card of the OGs for sure. But he's still getting it done, right? He's won 2 of his last 3. The only loss was to Jailton Almeida in a fight where Jailton would just get 1 takedown per round, was able to smush the Black Beast. Really quite an uneventful, uninspiring, boring fight, to be honest with you. And Black Beast is taking on this young hype beast, Talison Teixeira, who is 8-0, undefeated in the UFC, 25-year-old hype beast. But, I mean, the kid's only 1-0, right? And the one victory he has is over Justin Tafa, performance of the night, where he arguably kneed him in the groin, which caused the initial collapse, and Tafa succumbs to a bunch of strikes from there. But to me, the odds are a little crazy in this one. Black Beast being a sizable plus 210 dog. Talison minus 260, despite having 1 fight, 1 questionable win, and over a Tafa. Do you like Derek Lewis as a dog in this one? Is he going to come through and knock out this big thumb hype beast, similar to how he's done before? Or is Talison Teixeira that good and Derek Lewis is that done?
Yeah, I think I don't know. This is battle of the meat slobber, so I think it's one punch and someone's going out. And Lewis, he doesn't. If he gets hit hard, he goes down, and he's just like, oh, I'm not trying to keep going. The fight isn't as what it used to be for him. But yeah, I just don't know if Tollison is this. If he should be this big of a favorite. I mean, Derek Lewis just throws one meat bomb. You're going to the Shadow Realm, so I gotta pick Derek Lewis. It's not in his hometown. He's a dog, and this guy's bound to get clipped. So I think Derek wins via KO first round. If not, he's definitely losing the fight.
It's a good point too, right? He's had the bad luck when it's in his backyard. Anywhere besides there, though, if it's a neutral site, Salt Lake City against Rogerio de Ligma a couple years ago, he goes out there and gets it done. So I think there's something to that point for sure. And if you really look at Talison Teixeira, this guy, first of all, has never seen a second round, right? He's only going out there and finishing dudes easy light work in the first round. And the longest he's ever made it into a fight was 4 minutes and 40 seconds into round 1, and that was in his professional debut. He's only accumulated less than 5 minutes of total fight time throughout his last 4 contests. So that to me says he needs to go out there and find a way to finish Derek Lewis easy light work early and often, which historically isn't something that Derek Lewis likes to do. I mean, I guess the one pushback would be he got absolutely smoked by Sergey Pavlovich, but that was like first punch of the fight YOLOs, and I think that's where Talison Teixeira is going to have his only life. And if he's unable to sleep Derek Lewis in the first couple minutes, I don't see a world where Black Beast loses this fight. So I'm with you, Meat Boy. I'm going to go Black Beast to find a way to get this one done. I think he finishes Teixeira. Is it the craziest thing to try and clench an over in this one? Is there any chance that this fight gets out of the first round?
I think there's a 0% chance this gets out of the first round.
I think if it does somehow get there, that actually helps Black Beast. But I'm with you. This fight probably is over in the first round. I'm gonna go Black Beast. End of the first round, finding a way to get this one done. And perhaps there are some dangerous early moments where Teixeira does land some of those meat bombs. But I think Black Beast can survive, right? I mean, I don't know if I'm yet sold on Taliesin Teixeira possessing the Pavlovich-like power, the Cyril Gahn-like precision. I think Taliesin Teixeira is good, but let's pump the brakes a little bit. He's only 25. He beat Atafa sick. He beat Arthur Lopez, Arthur Fonseca, followed by Matthias Fonseca. I mean, he's taking out some random Fonseca bros. Black Beast is neither. So I like Black Beast. Tapology is seen at 68% for Teixeira, 32 for the Black Beast, but it's all brown. It's KO or bust for either of the finishers. So officially, you're going round one finish by Black Beast?
It's got to be round one.
Let's get it. Let us know in the comments if we're sleeping on Taliesin Teixeira and he truly is the next beast. I'm curious, me boy, if Black Beast goes and finishes this hype beast and cuts an epic promo, is it possible that we see the Black Beast fighting Tom Aspinall later this year for the first official heavyweight title defense of Tom? Because to me, I mean, everyone's saying, oh yeah, Cyril Gahn probably gets the next shot, but I don't think the UFC really likes Cyril Gahn like that, nor are they begging to get him in there immediately. So is it possible that Derek Lewis, if he gets this one done, cuts a sick promo, finds his way back in a title fight, and is served up for Tom's first defense?
I could see that. I could absolutely see that for sure.
To me, it sounds like a fun idea for sure, and it would probably flip the world upside down if Black Beast was able to somehow knock out Tom Aspinall. But nonetheless, people, a lot of good stuff. UFC Nashville. It's an okay card. Hopefully, it delivers. Meatlock obviously coming through. Steve Garcia, the Mean Machine. Are you going 5-0? You had a nice week last week. Do you keep it alive this week, or how do you do after UFC Nashville?
Yeah, I think this is a Steve's Hot Lava Chicken Nashville steam fryer, and I think I'm gonna go 1-5 or 1-4.
Steve's hot lava. Nah, I don't even know if that's crazy, but 1-4. Hopefully not. I say we both go 4-1. But let us know if you disagree with any of our picks. Let us know if you are picking the giant thumb over Black Beast, or if you like the meatlock, or if you like the dog in that one as well. Any last thoughts, meat boy?
Nope.